first of all, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Literally, anybody can do it. And when you're going through that, I used to think to myself, the most successful people in the world only focus on and speak about what they want. They don't focus on and speak about what they don't want, what they can't do. They're very, very focused. So I want you to focus on exactly what you want. Write down the vision. What do you want to be a year from now? Beyond your wildest dreams. The way to come out of your own mind, the way to come out of the ego, that's telling you the self-limiting beliefs that you can't do it, it's not good enough. You need to come out of your mind, drop into your heart. And the way you speak to yourself, your internal dialogue, your external dialogue, it matters because you're reprogramming yourself, in that way. So I want you to, when I say believe in yourself, I want you to take a chance on yourself. Again, the most successful people in the world only focus on and speak about what we want. We don't focus on or speak about what we don't want, can't do. We take action. Take action. Like force yourself to get out of bed. Even when you're depressed and you're exhausted, just get out of bed, make the bed. Just make the bed. That's like one form of accomplishment before you start your day. And I really want you to believe in yourself. Just believe in yourself. Have faith in God that, it does get better.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.
Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we inspire, we motivate, we encourage, we edify, and we give you the confidence that you need to take on life and business and to continue winning every single day. And I've been looking forward to this week's guest. Man, I'll tell you what, she's so much on fire. She's even wearing red today. You can see her beautiful smile, and it's just epic. She has a new book that's coming out, and she's definitely going to drop some value to our audience. So let's welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Miss Erin Lay. How you doing, Erin?
I'm doing really great. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and it's such a pleasure to be here with you. I love it, Daniel.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. I know the amazing woman you are. You have amazing summits. You're an amazing coach. But let the audience of the Daniel Gomez Inspired Show know, who is Erin Lay, please?
Well, Erin Lay is an author, a speaker, a motivational speaker, the host of Life on Track. And I have so many great things going on in my life right now. And you know where I started when I had cancer at 25 and a couple of years of treatments where they said I'd die and I didn't. And so Erin Lay lived. Erin Lay went on to have 3 kids that they said what the medical society said would never happen. And that's when I started coaching in the 90s. Sloan Kettering started having their patients call me at home. And I did it for years for free. And that's how it started.
Wow. Did you hear what she said, ladies and gentlemen? I'm telling you, Erin's going to drop some wisdom. She's going to drop some bombs here on this episode. So you know what time it is. It's time to get out your pen and paper and take notes, right? Because something magical happens when you put pen and paper. You retain 80% more of what you read and write down. So write it down and definitely listen to what Erin says, because she's going to drop a lot of wisdom for us today. Erin.
Yeah.
Did you say the doctor said you were going to die? Is that what you said? Did I hear you?
Yes. Right? Yeah. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoblastic lymphoma in 1991, and nobody lived with that diagnosis. It was a very rare pediatric cancer. So they basically threw the kitchen sink at me, getting doses of chemo that were beyond other local cancer hospitals' legal limits. And yeah, so I kept living. Every time the team of doctors came in crying, saying to get my things in order, they were going to call my parents, basically to say goodbye. So I would tell the New Yorker and me would tell them to get the hell out of my room, because Daniel, and for everybody listening, what I did was I was a Wall Street executive. And then this happened. So it took me out of the Wall Street game. And I found out that there's a whole inner world. There's a whole, I started reading the personal development books. The first one, and write this down, it's a great book, Full Catastrophe Living by Jon Kabat-Zinn. And in the back of the book in 91, there was a cutout for a meditation tape for mindfulness. And it was incredible. So between that and Shaki Gawain's creative visualization book, I married the meditation, the visualization, and began to find that this whole inner world that's there was just incredible. And that's what I turned to in addition to God. It was God and I. It wasn't just me by myself, that I kept living and surprising the doctors and everybody in Sloan Kettering when they thought I was going to die. So that's a powerful thing.
Well, let me ask you this, because right now, right, I can't even imagine hearing this, saying like, Daniel, good luck, dude. You got like a month, a weekend. And I say that because I remember when my dad got a diagnosis that he had a month to live. And I remember I just cried. It broke me. And going outside the hospital, there was a big old planter box at University Hospital. I was just crying and actually crying out to God, like, dude, I don't know who you are, but if you help my dad, I'll serve you. So I can't imagine what went through your head. How does you get the news, right? You get the news and you're hearing this over and over. What is it that really, like, what do you stand on at that moment? Because right now, there's a lot of women right now coming out of just this past year and coming into this, and they don't have a foundation to stand on. What in the heck did you stand on after getting news like this? Because I think so many women right now and men can hear and learn from you right now. What was it that you stood on at that moment, Erin?
So at first I screamed, when they told me that if the chemo didn't work as fast as the tumor was growing, I'd be dead in a month. So at 25 years old, sitting Indian style on a hospital bed, after being out in the Hamptons the week before, dancing on the dance floor, and I had my parents wait all the way down the hall, when they told me the news. And my parents just said it was like a blood curdling scream of just no. And then after I went through the shock and just the devastation of that kind of news, I was like, you got to get solution oriented. You know what I mean? Like, you got to start figuring out what you can do for yourself, in addition to what the doctors are saying, how they're going to help me. So that's when I started. I always stand on faith. My faith has always been strong my whole life. So, I prayed to God. And actually, it's going to sound kind of crazy, Daniel, but I actually felt like this, this rush, through my body at one point. And I was like, what was that? And then I just didn't feel like I was by myself anymore, but I was tenacious. I was like the fiery redhead, I was only 25 years old. And I was like, no, nothing's going to stop me. I still want to go back out into the world. I had a lot of things that I wanted to do. So I actually wrote a book called The Will to Live, because my willpower was so strong. At one point when the doctors thought I was going to die, I had 6 blood transfusions. I had a blood count of zero, and an infection they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And again, I was supposed to die. And I put my sneakers on with a little bit of strength, the tiny little bit of strength I had. I put my sneakers on and my mind wouldn't stop. It wouldn't, I was getting out of there. I was getting out of Manhattan. I was going back home. And I did, so I stand on faith. I stand on this whole, again, I call it the inner world. Your personal power. For anybody going through any kind of, overwhelm, distraction, shock, any kind of turmoil, or like everything from 2020, start meditating, like create a vision for your life that's beyond your wildest dreams. I say this I'm all about vision and decision.
I love that, right? Vision.
Yeah.
Yes, it surprises me how many people I speak to, Erin, that don't have a vision for their life. And all they see is right what's in front of them. And sometimes they don't see beyond, right? And I say that because 90% of people, all they see in front of them, you know what it is obstacles and problems. And it's not to their fault. That's just the way they're conditioned, the way they were brought up in the environment and their thinking. And, it's things that we learn from our mom, our dad, and just uncles and everybody around us. And most people focus on what's negative. We focus on the obstacles. We focus on the problems. What enabled you at that moment? Because I think somebody can definitely learn from you right now is, right, why didn't you see that? And how did you get a vision for yourself when most people see a problem at that moment? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I became like that woman from the beginning of the movie, The Secret, Rhonda, only it was 1991. So I educated myself. I read so many self-help books on like full catastrophe living. It dealt with every stressor you could imagine and how to deal with that. I learned how to become, solution oriented. I learned how not to look for validation to the outside world. I learned how to regain my sense of self and personal power. And again, I went through a divorce, Daniel, and for everybody listening, 22 years later, I was with my ex-husband for 22 years and I was shocked and devastated. I was thrown on my back again, at that time. And that was just a few years ago. It was final in 2016. And through the divorce, it was like the cancer, your identity's thrown in the air, your future's thrown in the air. And I remember literally like being in the fetal position on top of a pile of laundry in my basement, like, oh my God, I don't even know where these vents go. And I have 3 kids upstairs that I need to take care of. And I have to know everything, like where the electrics, I thought I had to know everything. And then I said, oh my God, stand up and do what you did when you were going through the cancer. And I literally forced myself to stand up. And that was the end of my tears. Then I became solution oriented again. Again, me and God.
Yes,
I thank God all the time. And I literally said, okay, you need to just keep moving forward. Each day, just put one foot. That's why I'm always got onward and upward, learn and grow,
Yes, I love what you said, though. Think about, they need to hear what you said, because that's what you said is powerful. Most people, we want our life to change, right? I have my iPhone here in front of me, and every so often we get those updates on our iPhones, right? But most people don't update their thinking. They continue with that same programming that we have, that same, just imagine that software on the iPhone that we never upgraded. The phone's not going to work eventually. It's going to kind of lock us out or whatever's going to happen. Well, internally, that's what happens. Our life gets locked up because all we focus is on that software that's in our brain that keeps us in bondage, right? In that cage where we incarcerate ourselves. And what you're saying is you found this book. It gave you an aha moment. You're like, hey, I feel better. Maybe I can live, right? Maybe this will happen. And the beautiful thing is this, what Erin is saying, sometimes you have to be crazy enough when nobody else is believing in you that you're going to just live. She believed in the book and she followed that book. Sometimes you got to be crazy enough and not to follow the masses, because we know when you follow the masses, what happens with that, sometimes you end up, right? So don't follow the masses. Follow who you are, what God puts in your heart. Find a book that's going to change your life. Listen to a podcast, Erin. What Erin said is this, the input's going to determine your output. And the only way she was going to live is she had to change something that was going on. And believe me, I love doctors. Doctors mean well. They're great. I respect them. But we went through the same thing with my wife, because they were kind of the same diagnosis that you're never going to be able to do this. You're never going to be able to do that. But all they know is science. And even though God created science, there's power behind when you believe what God can do. And when you activate that faith, Erin just activated her faith and said, maybe I'm going to be crazy enough to read this book. And if I'm crazy enough to believe it a little bit, God, you said, if faith has a mustard seed, maybe I'll live. And that's what I hear you say, Erin. And somebody out there, I want you to do this. Give yourself permission to be crazy like Erin, because you're being crazy like Erin now. She's impacting not hundreds, not thousands, but she's impacting tens of thousands on her way to hundreds of thousands. Are you doing that, Erin?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love it. And what I want people to understand also is, if you don't have a vision for your life, then life's driving you, right? When you write down a really, really strong, crystal clear vision for your life, bring it alive, like read it every morning and every night, bring it alive with the 5 senses, utilizing all of your senses, including 6th sense of intuition, and have that feeling as if it's happening right now. Now you're in the driver's seat of life. Time collapses. They call me the miracle maker. They're like, how do you make this happen so fast? How do you make this happen so fast? Because then the world acclimates to your vision, as opposed to you making wonky decisions through life and life's driving you. When you have that crystal clear vision, the whole world, the people, places, and things start to show up in your life. Your vision the goals that you set start to be achieved at record speed when you start to do this. And it's universal law. There's so many different things, and it's coming from within. It's coming from within. So many people, like you said, 95% of the people are living their day based on the subconscious, drifting, hypnotic rhythm, just going through life on a program like our computers. It's like driving on the parkway, 5 exits, and being like, oh my God, I don't know how I forgot driving the last 4 exits. And that's how people go through 95% of their day. Where if you start being intentional about your day, I love life. I say it all the time. I'm a lover of life. It's so good. So good. And it's so fun.
You said a word that caught my attention. Intentional.
Yes.
I got to say, I went to the gym today and I felt a little guilty. I was listening to this podcast as I was there. And the guy said something that really just kind of caught my attention. I was like, wow, okay, right? Intentional means you got to be disciplined. How do those two go together? Intentionality, because we have the right intentions, right? We have the right intentions, but like the great wisdom that she's just dropping right now, Erin, is we're creatures of habit, 95% of them do. So how do you develop that discipline with those intentions? Give us 2 takeaways of how can somebody do that? Because I think people mean well, right? And one of the biggest lies that we've been told is, well, I can will myself to a positive attitude. No, you can't. You can't will yourself to a positive attitude, because if you're 40 years old and you haven't thought positive your whole life, how are you going to just all of a sudden, well, I'm going to think positive? It doesn't work that way. So how does intentionality and discipline go together? Talk to us about that and 2 takeaways of how to really shift your life and focus on that vision, Erin.
Sure. One word, committed. You can't just be interested. like John Assaraf says, and a few other people, have said, you can't just be interested in getting well or interested in making a lot of money or interested in doing anything. You need to be committed. I'll share with you something else that, it was another moment in my life through the divorce. I had $5. I had to stop my business for 5 years. I've been coaching for 30 years. I had to stop everything because my sister was diagnosed with cancer. I became the point of contact for her. My kids were going bing bong all over the place from the divorce. Everybody was shocked, including myself. So I'm an empowerment coach. If I felt disempowered, how am I going to empower anybody else? So I literally stopped everything. I was doing a radio show on Blog Talk Radio. I stopped everything. So I remember being in the supermarket with my daughter in ShopRite. I had $5 because the divorce is a financial hemorrhage. $5 in my pocket. I wasn't getting the child support the way I was supposed to be getting it. And I said, please, dear God, don't let me be humiliated with my daughter here. She was only like 13 at the time. Please don't let it be $5.25. I only had milk and bread. That's all I needed, milk and bread. Please don't let it be more than $5. And it was like 4 and change. But walking out of ShopRite, I was like on fire to build my business because I was like, I will never have this feeling again, ever. And I'm going to show my kids, especially I have 2 boys and a girl. And I literally, dating was non-negotiable. I was not going to date. I literally just put my nose to the grinds it wasn't even a grind because I love doing what I do. And I built it to 6 figures in a year and a half. And
wow.
That's obviously, yeah.
Oh, baby, I got to give you a boot for that one. You hear that? When you put your nose to the grind, when you're committed, when you're intentional, when you're disciplined, with a year and a half, 6 figures. Now, and this is coming from a powerful woman. And this is the beautiful thing about it, right? Like Roger Banner. When somebody, once he broke that 4-minute mile, then everybody started doing it. So if Erin Lay did it, anybody can do it if you're committed. Write it down.
Write it down. I say that all the time. And with the help of our friend Eric Swanson's mastermind and other coaches I've hired, I'm now working towards 7 and 8 figures. Literally committed. But now it's with grace and ease, Daniel. It's not like this overwhelming, like, oh my God, I have to work so hard like it was in the beginning of building my business. Now it's just scaling with, like, I love life. I love my business. I love serving others. If you're coming from the heart and you wake up each day looking like I wake up in love, like I literally wake up in love. I used to wake up like, like when I was going through that fear, lack, and scarcity. And when you shift the fear, lack, and scarcity, and it's a choice for everybody listening, you can wake up in fear, lack, and scarcity, or you can wake up in abundance and love and enthusiasm and optimism. It's a choice. So I shifted intentionally through meditation and visualization. It wasn't overnight. I worked at it. And I literally wake up like, I can't wait to get out of bed. Literally, like, just loving life.
I love that. And listen to what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be writing this stuff down, right? You have a choice to wake up in scarcity, fear, and lack every morning, or you can wake up in abundance, love. And the only way you're going to do that is you have to be intentional. First of all, be committed, like you said. And what are you reading? What are you watching? If you're watching the evening news and all you're seeing is COVID, and all you're seeing is death on the news, guess what? That's what you're going to attract to yourself, because what you focus on, you draw toward yourself. But if you take in the input of reading a book and it's adding value to you, and you're listening to podcasts that are making you think about, I can be successful, I can achieve greatness, I'm no better, I can do this, right? I'm just like everybody else. We all bleed the same color blood, red. So why not you? Stop saying, why not? No, why not you? You can do this, Erin. You're inspiring me right now. So let me ask you this, right? Erin is just being amazing right now, but I really want to encourage everybody to not feel sorry for yourself, because one thing that I heard on the backstory of all this is that you did not feel sorry for yourself. You didn't play that victim mentality. And I get it. I've been there, right? Believe me, I've been there where my resilience was low many years ago. But as you build your resilience, it's like you get through. I want you to give us a couple of things that you did. You made that decision, you got committed, but there was a point there where you lost your confidence. And what did you do to regain your confidence, and what did you learn about yourself on your journey to entrepreneurship?
When I felt disempowered, I just forgot about, what I learned through the cancer experience. And so the disempowerment was like a slow, insidious kind of a thing. It's like Napoleon Hill's quote, indecision leads to self-doubt, self-doubt leads to fear, right? All the time. Under the category of fear is anything negative, anxiety, depression, remorse, regret, anything negative. So I realized that I was in indecision. Like I wasn't able to make decisions as clear as I normally am. And then I realized it's insidious how it leads. Indecision leads into self-doubt. It's just insidious and slow. And then bam, you're in fear. So I needed to start making decisions, good or bad, knowing that I can change my mind, and make a better decision. But I had to make a decision and then just, okay. And then make another decision. Okay. Instead of just being like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And just, should I do this? Should I do that? So I just started making decisions. That's why I'm all about vision and decision. I say it all the time. Vision and decision. Make the decision. Make a decision. You can always change it. If you find there's a better decision to be made. And I also just, I quieted my mind. And again, I learned how to go from the mind and drop into the heart. And I did that with the cancer. Also, people said to me, because when I was going through the cancer, the chemo treatments, I listened to classical music, which balances both hemispheres of the brain as I was doing everything else. And somebody once said to me, like, how did you even know to listen to classical music? And I said, I don't know. I just listened to my gut. Like something within me said, I saw like I had classical music tapes and I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to that. And it was working. And it was and I didn't know about Bernie Siegel or anything else at that time. It was just literally just me and God and just making decisions at that point.
This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and I want to personally invite you out to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy here in San Antonio, Texas on Friday, September the 10th and Saturday, September the 11th. If you want to get paid to speak, if you're an aspiring speaker who wants to share your story, or if you want more paid speaking engagements, we're going to show you how to apply, where to apply, and we're going to give you a professional speaking reel as part of your platinum package. Call me at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. It's time to start living your dream and becoming that paid professional speaker. Our graduates have earned thousands and gotten paid to speak. Be one of them. We'll see you here on September 10th and 11th at the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy in San Antonio, Texas. Call me now at 210-663-5954 to reserve your seat now.
Let me ask you this. So what did, at that moment, right? Because it's a lot. Like, I couldn't imagine going through your story, but what did you learn about yourself? That I want you to take a moment right now, because somebody's listening to this, whether it's on iTunes or Spotify or iHeart, they're listening to this episode and they're like, yeah, but, right? They're like, yeah, but, right? Yeah, but you don't know my situation. We didn't know your situation, Erin. Talk to that person right now that's thinking about giving in. Maybe they got diagnosed with the sickness or disease. Maybe they lost a loved one or their parents are today. I don't know who it is right now, but I just feel like God wants you to talk into that mic right now and really just speak life if someone's thinking about, hey, things can't turn around, because they turned it around for you. You took action, right? You got decisive. Encourage that person for a minute, if you don't mind, please.
Sure. Well, first of all, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Literally, anybody can do it. And when you're going through that, I used to think to myself, the most successful people in the world only focus on and speak about what they want. They don't focus on and speak about what they don't want, what they can't do. They're very, very focused. So I want you to focus on exactly what you want. Write down the vision. What do you want to be a year from now? Beyond your wildest dreams. The way to come out of your own mind, the way to come out of the ego, that's telling you the self-limiting beliefs that you can't do it, it's not good enough. You need to come out of your mind, drop into your heart. And the way you speak to yourself, your internal dialogue, your external dialogue, it matters, because you're reprogramming yourself, in that way. So I want you to, when I say believe in yourself, I want you to take a chance on yourself. Again, the most successful people in the world only focus on and speak about what we want. We don't focus on or speak about what we don't want, can't do. We take action. Take action. Like, force yourself to get out of bed. Even when you're depressed and you're exhausted, just get out of bed, make the bed, just make the bed. That's like one form of accomplishment before you start your day. And I really want you to believe in yourself, just believe in yourself, have faith in God that, it does get better. It does get better. When people would tell me when I was going through the divorce and I was devastated, and they said, it's going to get better. People that went through divorce before me, they said, trust me, it's going to get better. And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't have my marriage. I thought everything was great. And they were like, no, trust me. And I was like, no, you don't know me. Yes. And they were right.
So
But
let me
it's
ask
all
you this. You're going through all this, right? I'm listening to this. You're doing amazing. You're going through this. You're reading the book. You're applying. You're taking action, which we should do. What in the heck came into your mind, said, well, I'm surviving now. I'm living. Now I want to leave my comfort zone of this job that I've had. And now I want to be this entrepreneur. What dropped in your mind that you wanted to be an entrepreneur and go out and pursue that?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, like I said, when I was working on Wall Street, the cancer took me out of the Wall Street game. So, I mean, I had the Series 763, the insurance license at 25. My aunt was the first woman trader on Wall Street, so I was running around in limos as a little girl when my aunt was, the first woman trader on Wall Street. And I was like, oh my God, that's where I want to work. And it was the late 80s before Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas. It was an interesting time. So the cancer took me out of that. And then for so many years, there would just follow-ups with doctors, Social Security, disability, you know what I mean? So, but I would coach, and I wrote books and I just did everything that I'd love to do. So the entrepreneur, like, I didn't want to give that up and just go do I'm not a 9-to-5 chick. Like, I can't sit still 9-to-5. Like, it's not me. So I love the entrepreneurial spirit and being able to constantly create, and create to help serve others. It's just, I love it.
Oh, I love that. Say that again. Create to help serve others. I think so many entrepreneurs, unfortunately, the stats, we talk about this a lot on the show, is 90% of entrepreneurs fail within the first year, another 90 within the first 5 years, right? But I think what you just said right now was you need to write that down, ladies and gentlemen. Create to serve others. I think that's what you said, right? Create to serve others. How important is that, Erin, especially when you're starting off in business? Why is it about others and not about us?
Well, I found also, even when I was doing this for free in the beginning, when Sloan Kettering wanted me to coach the cancer patients, because they saw what I did in the treatment rooms for them and they saw what I did for myself. So the cancer patients were showing back up to Sloan, like not throwing up, after the chemo, and they felt so much better and they had a much better attitude. And I found that the more I helped them, the more I got back, like I felt so good about it. You know what I mean? It was so rewarding for me. And then just wonderful things kept happening in my life that I think when you're so worried about yourself and not about other people, like you're stuck there and you're always going to be worrying about yourself. When you release that and you release the negativity and you literally just focus on how can you spend the day serving other people, it just naturally comes back to you tenfold. At least that's my experience.
Wow. I love that. No, it's kind of, I always say this is that we're farmers, and when you sow seeds into other people's life, God brings those seeds back in your life. And I just love what you're saying that. And you just had such an inspiration. I want you to know that. And you've mentioned that you've written a book before, but you have a new book that's coming out. Talk to us a little bit about that. What book do you have that is going to be released, and what's the name of it, and where can we find it? And tell us a little bit about that. Take a minute and do that for us if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm so excited about this book. It's my first fictional book. So I've written character building children's books, and I did assemblies in the schools with those books, and The Will to Live, that was like my memoir. This book, I just wanted to do something where I can bring love into the world, so this book is about bringing love into the workplace. And it's a post-pandemic moment. It's dealing with NASA wanting to colonize people on Mars, like what Elon Musk is talking about. So the first culture that I want established for these people before they go to Mars is a culture of love. So then when they're up there, at least that culture of love is established first. And it's such a great story. And there's a bit of romance in it. It's a rags to riches kind of thing. There's so much, it has to do with NASA, and, it's so timely, but it's literally just bringing a culture of love to the world,
Yes.
even up to Mars.
So what's your favorite chapter in the book?
Oh my God. How do you pick a favorite chapter? I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
How do you pick a favorite chapter? I think once the main character, Kira, and she's working with Jason, I don't want to give too much of the book away, but one of my favorite parts is when she realizes that she didn't even have that gift. She didn't realize it was a gift, but she did naturally, because she worked, I'm not going to give the plot away, but what she just did naturally with exuding love to other people was a gift. And that's one of my favorite chapters when she realized that. And she was working with Jason.
I love that you're saying that, because love is, there's a lot of power in love. And I'm not talking about flaky, makey love. I'm talking about genuine love, a love for yourself, a love for people, a love for serving, and just adding value. And I can tell you, when I went to Asia last year with Michael D. Butler, our publisher, it just really changed my perspective, because for me in America, like even the most impoverished areas were nothing like what I saw in Asia. It really like, wow. And when I got on that plane, I was asking God, what is it that you want me to learn from this? And he didn't really say nothing. And when I got on the plane, I just started crying. I really just like, my heart was transformed to see how some of this, right? Not all of them, but a majority of the people that live there, they're just poor and poor. I'm like, what do I have to complain about?
Yeah.
And I think that's when you have that love, it opens up another channel to compassion, right? Because you can't feel compassion without love. It's not feeling sorry for somebody. It's the fact that compassion to me is you really want to help somebody because it's in the love of your heart to help them in a genuine manner, not to, oh, I feel sorry for you, let me help you. No, it's like, hey, I really, really want to help you.
Yeah.
Has really loving people made a big difference in your life? And what difference was that, Erin?
Yeah. And I love everything that you're saying, Daniel. You and Michael are incredible men, absolutely incredible, and loving and giving. And you're incredible, incredible men. Loving to me, even switching from being, if you're angry with somebody, forgiveness is so huge. Forgiveness is a form of love. And it could be something egregious that happened to you, or you could just be so angry with somebody. But when you shift from anger to, for instance, my ex-husband, like I was so angry and I would be in the shower, like daydreaming about fighting, like literally just like, and it was such a horrible place to be. And then I said, no, I'm going to shift to prayer. And instead of being engaged in the negativity and the anger and the craziness, I shifted to prayer, which is a form of love. And when I, instead of fighting back, when I say like, I'm just praying for you, all of a sudden my life got better. You know what I mean? Like, instead of engaging,
I'm laughing because you've experienced this, right? As Erin grows, the people that supported her at one time don't support her anymore. And I'm laughing because God's talking to you right now, talking to me through you, because there's like, there's things that are happening on the back end of me. And it's like, sometimes you don't believe how people react, or they support you to a level of success. But once you we'll just say you pass them up a little bit, then they start criticizing you or start doing that. And it's funny because you're not even talking about them. You're just talking about what's going on in your life. And they happen to see something and they're like, oh, it's like, it's not even about you. It's about me. Like, God's teaching me these. And that's why I'm laughing, because it's like, you're just being so real with that, right? Like people when you walk from the place of love, it's like you read it or you see it, you're like, God bless them. They need you. There's obviously a point of pain in their life that they want to attack you. And I think I kind of hear you saying that in a sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a better place to be. And the funny thing is, as you raise up your vibration, right, the vibrational frequency, and you're going from anger, and you can't go from anger to peace or anger to love overnight. You really have to work your way up, because you won't be able to stay there. Like the way I literally feel each day now for the past year, believe it or not, through the pandemic, is peace, joy, and love. That's my 99% of my day. I'll drop down into anger once in a while, and then I'll come back out come back up really, really fast, because it's not my natural frequency. It's not my natural place to live and experience life. But it's a process through meditation and visualization, creating a strong vision, making those decisions, which, first the courage, then the confidence. Write that down, everybody. Write it down. First the courage, then the confidence. But you need to have the courage to just do that, take that next step in faith, and then just keep taking those steps in faith. And it's always first the courage, then the confidence.
Well, awesome. As we're coming to the end of the show, let's shift a little bit. I want to ask you this. What makes Erin Lay distinctive? What makes her unique?
What you see is what you get.
No, baby, like it or not.
What you see is what you get.
Like it or not.
I don't BS. I don't sit here and try to be anybody else.
Boom! I love that. Hey, there's no unwrapping here. What you see is what you get. I love that. What do you mean by that? Just tell us a little bit about, what is distinctive, what is unique about you?
What I mean by that is I remember as a kid on Wall Street, I was in my early 20s and I was the one who had like the Series 7, 6, 63 and the insurance license. So I was working with people twice my age who had less credentials. So I'd have to do power lunches with them so that I could help them close deals. Okay. So I felt like I had to be so much more at like 23 years old. I had to be so much more than what I really was because I was a kid. So I felt like I had to be this more grown up, equally as grown up as the 50-year-old I was helping to close a deal. And I wasn't fully myself. I was always trying. Where, like after the cancer, and I realized like, just be you, fully you, play life like big, live big, dream big. So that's what I mean. Like I couldn't act on a bet. Like if you wanted me to act inside, like I just can't even fake it. Like I'm just like fully myself. So that's what I mean. I'm just literally, and I live from the inside out. I don't look to the outside world for validation, like I did when I was younger, in my 20s, again, since the cancer diagnosis, once you learn about this whole inner world, it's so cool. If people like you, great. If people don't like you, fine. Like it's just you're fully you. As long as you're coming from a heart-centered place.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful way to live life.
I love that. So what is a quote or a scripture that you lean on when you have those days of adversity? Tell us a quote or a scripture that you lean on.
It's my quote that I made up.
Well, cool. Tell us Erin Lay's quote.
I wrote it down. I wrote it down, and it's probably not original, but this is something I never heard before, and I wrote it down in 1991 as my go-to quote, and I still do. And it's celebrate life, and you'll have a life worth celebrating. Celebrate life, and you'll have a life worth celebrating.
I love that.
Yeah, you won't be in that, why me? Why is this happening to me? Like celebrate life, be solution oriented, like love life.
So I have a question because I believe that. I encountered that last year because we were having an epic year, came back from Asia with Michael, had a big speaking engagement, and then boom, I almost broke my foot. Ooh. And then it wasn't the end to the year that I wanted. So I caught up in my feelings for a little bit. But because it wasn't the end that I wanted. But I made a little video. And as I was going through the pictures that I was putting in the video, I just started crying because God goes, what are you upset about? Like what you did in 10 months. And I was like, wow. Like I did more in 10 months than most people do in 2 years. And it was because of that very thing that you said. I was always eager to get to the next one, the next big hurrah, the next big win. And I didn't celebrate the blessings. Like our Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, I didn't celebrate that from July. And I really realized like, wow, like who can say that they have a speaking academy? How important is it to really celebrate your wins, Erin? And
it's so important. Even the little wins, because I even tell my clients before you go to sleep, write down, I call them atta-girls and atta-boys, 5 things that you just pat yourself on the back for. Like 5 wins. It could be that you were exhausted, but you made dinner anyway. Or it could just be something. It doesn't have to be that you ran a marathon or you got a promotion. Just 5 things that you feel that you could pat yourself on the back for during the day and celebrate that. Celebrate it because we could be so hard on ourselves, and I was on Clubhouse with you. I think it was you. And a gentleman said, Erin, we could be our own worst enemy. And it just hit me like, no, don't say that. Like, don't say that ever again. So I said, no, you want to be your own best friend. You want to be your own best friend. And I want everybody to hear that. If you have that expression of, we're our own worst enemy, you will be your own worst enemy because that's what you're speaking into yourself. So you want to speak into yourself that you're your own best friend. It's like people that say money is the root of all evils. No, the way you treat money is the way money's going to treat you. Love money. Money's a beautiful thing. Just don't ever put people ahead of money. Greed is the root of all evils. So it's what you speak into yourself, but celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins every day. Find something to celebrate every day.
I love me and you can have a conversation about money for another hour. So we definitely got to have another conversation about that. But Erin, you've been epic. How do we get a hold of you? Somebody wants to connect with Erin Lay. How do we find you? Tell us that before we come to the end of the show, please.
Sure. I have my website is erinlay.com. You can contact me there. And I would really love for you to go to worklove.com and check out my new book that's coming out. And also they'll get the summit that you were in with me, Life on Track, season 1 and 2. And that's how they can contact me. I'd love it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, wow, what an epic episode. Thank you for joining us, Erin Lay. As we come to the wrap of this show, Erin brought some great wisdom and nuggets with this. And if you're out there, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling lost, definitely reach out to us. Shield of Faith Coaching. We definitely want to help you on your entrepreneur journey through our coaching, our business coaching, our executive coaching. We can help you get unstuck and start winning bigger in life. And when you change your perspective of how you see things, that's when your life will elevate it. So go to www.danielgomezglobal.com. That's www.danielgomezglobal.com and send us a message there. We definitely want to help you out. And if you love what you heard today, also just join our community on Facebook. It's called Shield of Faith Entrepreneurs, where we try to add value. Well, not we try, but we add value to entrepreneurs to just help them go through the day, because alone it's lonely, but together we can rise higher and help each other. So that's a wrap for this week's episode. Erin's been an amazing guest. And we'll see you next week here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.